Good day and welcome everyone. My name is Arnav Gupta and I'm from class 1 PCMEG. As a part of Heal and Zeal, we have with us today a distinguished guest, Mr. VINIT CHHABRIA. He started at the age of 19 as a freelancer and has done his BCom at National Academy of Sports Medicine. He's a personal trainer and has trained around 150 to 160 people. He has done a variety of fitness techniques such as yoga and calisthenics. He is currently working at Live Easy and is doing his nutritionist course in National Academy of Sports and Medicine. Welcome,
Hey,
sir. Thank you for being with us today.
thanks for having me, man.
To get this started, since physical health is so important, and during
Mm,
COVID, people aren't able to come to gyms like they used to. So, how
right.
would you advise to train at their houses until they can come to gym?
Good question, man, actually, and very relevant one as well. Because like today, because of the way the gyms are being shut, right? It's going to be very difficult to train outside. So something which personally, again, I do as well, is live sessions. So what I realized is like when you're training by yourself, what tends to happen is like when we're training alone, like what happens is we do a set of exercises, say we warm up our body, but then because of so many distractions being around, like our phone, our TV, and our family members being there as well, it's a little difficult to train. So something I always advise people is if they can like form a community, if they can kind of like, for example, like on Zoom, how we are having this call right now, if they can just go on Zoom and they can like find a workout partner, anyone they trust, anyone they kind of, feel comfortable with, that's something I would really advise. Because what happens is there's someone there who you're being held accountable with. So that kind of it keeps you in track and you can get in the session and then you can kind of carry on with your day. That's something I would always advise people. Like any kind of follow along workouts is something what I'd say go with.
That
Yeah,
is informative.
yeah.
What exercises would you advise a teenager to do since they have a very tight schedule and want some quick exercises to keep them healthy?
Fair, very fair question actually. And yeah, with teenagers actually that's a little bit subjective because what happens is like, for example, if I had to give you an exercise versus I have to give somebody else who is a little bit more on the heavier side. So I have to kind of, keep that in mind as well. So what I would say is I would always tell a person to stay active. So the first thing is, what I personally tell people is try to keep yourself active via step counts. So because of like the way now you don't have to buy a smart band or anything of those kinds. We have our phones. So what happens is on that itself, we can kind of just download any kind of the free apps, and then we can kind of just like track our steps. Just staying active indoors. Like for example, if we went having this meeting or like on like having this meeting on the call, I would have been walking and talking with you. So what happens is that way I'm being a lot more active because it's very easy to be sedentary. So that's something I would really advise people. But when it comes to teenagers, I would really recommend just doing a lot of body weight movements. That's something that's kind of a way I got introduced into fitness as well. So push-ups, dips, like pull-ups. So basically, any kind of movements you want to learn. So that's kind of something I would say you can pursue for, and also because since you're a teenager and you're trying to like trying to be cool amongst your friends, so you learn these kind of movements. It kind of helps in that way as well. So I would say it's a win-win in both directions.
Thank you for the interesting tips. To wrap this up, the
Yeah.
most important question. People lose
Hmm.
motivation too easily these days.
All
What would
right.
you like to tell them to keep them motivated?
Oh, honestly, I also lose motivation a lot, so I don't think I'll be the right one. But honestly, answering this is what I've noticed personally is with training people is, many people have very high expectations of themselves. Like they kind of tell, okay, I'm either going to give 100% or I'm not going to do it at all. It's like the basically like a New Year's resolution. So, what I would always tell people is like some days, like we have a bad nap, we have bad sleep, or maybe there's something that happens in our life personally, so we kind of got to keep everything into account and we got to decide like, okay, if I give say 60% today as opposed to 100%, that's okay as well. But the main point I would say people is just creating habits because motivation, everyone loses motivation and they kind of get it back as well. But when you create habits like, okay, I'm going to wake up at this time, I'm going to work out at this time, what happens is you form a routine, which is like the one of the most deadliest things out there. So I would really recommend people that not to rely so much on motivation, definitely take advantage of like how the newer spirits are and then formulate good habits and then just you can kind of pursue your goals after that. So that's my answer.
Thank you so much for sharing such important information.
Most welcome,
We would
man,
love
most welcome.
We would love to hear more from you, but in the interest of time, we have to bring this interview to a close.
Sure.
So here's
Awesome.
wishing you the very best. Stay healthy and God bless you.
All right.